as well. Back to Thursday night. A few weeks ago, we had my beloved sister Allison Clark here on WZR Radio. Get a phone call from Thursday. What did you say? You said woo. Yeah, woo. Son of a bitch. Anyways, everybody marking out in the chat room. Oh, yeah, Allison Clark, blah, blah, blah. Fuck all you some bitches. But anyways, so Thursday night, sitting here, right, and no, not Thursday, it was Wednesday, right, because we had the UFC, they did a free show on Spike TV. It was, the Ultimate Fighter. They do the live fights, and then they debut the reality show. So anyways, I'm sitting here, and I'm watching the UFC fights, and I get a phone call from Allison Clark, and she says, hey, I'm pulled over. I got pulled over on the way home. So I said, oh no, okay? And I'm thinking to myself, and here I am, I'm drinking beers, I'm drinking Molson Ice, or whatever the fuck it is, Molson's, right?
Yeah, okay.
So I'm drinking those pretty strong beers. She calls up. I said, all right, well, call me back in a few minutes. So phone rings, and the whole time I'm thinking to myself, okay, she's got a suspended license, okay? And the car is not registered because it's registered under my name, and in New York State, you cannot get a car registered without it being inspected, and we have a crack in the light, so I can't get the car inspected. Anyways, she gets pulled over. She calls. I say, call me back. She calls back 10 minutes later, and she says, you got to come get me. He's not going to let me drive the car home. This and that. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I go up there, and at this point, keep in mind that I'm drinking, so I'm pounding water. As soon as she called after the first call, I'm pounding water, thinking I've got to go up there and I've got to talk to a cop. So I go down to my downstairs neighbors, and I say, hey, listen, can you guys...
Do I look fucked up?
Exactly. Do I look fucked up? Or am I acting drunk? Am I slurring my words? This and that. She says, no, you're fine. So I said, listen, here's the thing. If I drive up there, right, if I drive myself up there, I'm going to have a car up there because basically I've got to drive her car home. You understand where I'm going? So if I drive up there, I'm going to have a car up there, and that car is not going to be able to get home. Do you understand? Okay, so anyways, I have the downstairs neighbors, and they drive me up, and I get there, and they handcuff her, and they put her in a car, okay, and the cop tells me I've got to follow them down to the station. One thing leads to another, and $200 later, I am bailing Allison Clark out of jail for driving on a suspended license, no registration, and a host of other tickets that the New York State Trooper just felt the need to just go on a fucking... It was a good night. It was a good night for Officer whoever. So,
wow.
Basically, so now I've got to go. I've got to get this car registered. I've got to get this car inspected. She's got all these tickets. She had court yesterday, this and that. She's got to come back. So,
tell her to get Jeff Hardy's lawyer.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Oh, geez, man. So,
that's wild.
So that's a story. There's a weekly story, right? We got to give somebody I don't know. Doesn't deal with pro wrestling, but fuck it. It's a story.
Hey, it's a good story. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I mean, the chat room was digging it just after you said Allison.
That's right. All right. So let's move on. So Allison Clark, oh my God. All right. So anyways, here we go. Let's get to some plugs. We'll get some plugs out of the way, and then we'll move into talk about Night of Champions first, and then move into Monday Night Raw. Get that out of the way in hour number 1, and then in hour number 2, news, rumors, live phone calls, chat, shout-outs, whatever else you guys want.
So much more.
So much more.
Daddy.
All right. Daddy-o. All right, live phone number. By the way, guys, the live chat room, lots and lots of people in there tonight. Got about 60 people in there. Hopefully we can get over 70, maybe 80 tonight. Who knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, every week we get more and more, so.
No doubt. So get over there right now. It's www.WZROnline.com/chat. Once again, WZROnline.com/chat. Basically what I've done is I redid the page a little bit. Basically, I just added a few ad codes and put some information, some show information. Basically, the phone number is there, the YouTube page, all the plugs that you guys need for the show. It's all at WZROnline.com/chat. Plus, with the ads there, it looks kind of sexy.
I agree, man. It looks good. It looks real good.
You know, it looks so plain earlier, so I don't know. We sexied it up. Is that a word? Sexied it up.
Sexied it up.
Yeah. That's what we did. So WZROnline.com/chat.
Sexed it out.
Yeah, sexed it out. Get to the live media center right now. WZROnline.com/chat. Phone number we'll give out here in hour number 2. I see some of you guys calling in already. Just wait until about 8 o'clock Eastern time, and then I promise you.
8 o'clock, you mean 9 o'clock Eastern time?
9 o'clock Eastern time, my bad. And then we'll pick up. So there's that, and then we've got what? We're on AOL Instant Messenger, right? Tell them about that.
Get at us, and if you don't want to call in, you can send us a quick IM on AOL Instant Messenger at WZR Questions. So send us a message quick. And the other thing I wanted to plug real fast is if you haven't joined already and you're on Facebook, search up WZR Army and join that group. We got over 1,100 members, and it's pretty good.
Wow, there's like 100 new fans that sign up to that every week, is there not?
I know. There is. I mean, every week it seems like we get more and more. I don't even know. Joe Bill over there does a great job at it.
Yeah, no doubt. So do a search for that, guys, like Chris said, on Facebook. Do a search for WZR Army. And then one last plug here. We've got the YouTube.com page, which is located at youtube.com/WZR Archive, all lowercase, youtube.com/WZR Archive, and I think they put the archives up over there. I wish I had somebody, I had a guy last week, and he archived the show, and it came to be like 200 or 300 megabytes, and I cannot put that on the websites due to bandwidth issues. Think about if 1,000 fans downloaded a 300 megabyte file. I mean, my server would go fucking, it'd go crazy, okay? So I can't do that. So I need a way to shrink down these files. If somebody can archive the files and then shrink down, we would stop being. Listen, if you guys knew, I own a dedicated server, okay, because I have to TNAWrestlingNews.com, ProWrestlingScoops.com, all my websites are on this one dedicated server. $430 a month per month just to host these websites. So a dedicated server, I've got the bandwidth, but the problem is when people download, especially multiple people downloading a 300 megabyte file at the same time is just brutal on the server. Yeah. So I just can't do it. So basically, try to shrink that down and shoot me an email, webmaster@prowrestlingscoops.com, or we could host the archives on those rapid share websites or whatever. We could host it there. But just shoot me an email if you guys can archive this thing. It's webmaster@prowrestlingscoops.com, and we'll hash out all the details for
sign up an email, Daddy.
Next week. All these people in the chat room. WZROnline.com/chat. Get in the live chat room right now. All right, here we go. Moving on for the remainder of the show. We're going to talk pro wrestling news, rumors, Matt Hardy, Chris Jericho, Sean Waltman, your boy Sean Waltman last week.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Well, here's the thing. Media is media, okay? And it was only a joint. I have no problem with smoking a little pot. Who cares? It's pot. And media is media. So we'll talk about that.
Definitely.
Later on. All right. So, Night of Champions from this past Sunday night. What'd you think, man?
I kind of had mixed feelings about it. I thought that this was probably the most predictable pay-per-view they've put on this year so far. But, I mean, it was a gimmick pay-per-view, and I think they did a pretty good job considering it wasn't one of their top, 3-4 pay-per-views. So, I don't know. I'd give it a C+ overall.
Yeah, it was a decent pay-per-view. Had some good wrestling. They were in Chicago, so the crowd was hot, so that made for a... Oh, Jesus, what is this? Yikes.
Something bad.
Yeah, pop-ups.
Oh, pop-ups.
Jesus. It's like a porn ad or something. Jeez,
oh, damn. The only thing I don't understand is they're going to have to go from this pay-per-view to the next one. It's going to be pretty rushed, so I think this Hell in the Cell pay-per-view will be pretty shitty.
Well, the funny thing is they've already got the last night and next week, right? And both shows are. There's only 2 weeks, bro. There's only 2 weeks in between.
How do you? I just don't understand how you even develop like pretty good, a decent storyline for that,
Yeah, well, it's just here's the thing. It's a gimmick pay-per-view, though. I mean, Hell in the Cell. So basically, their thinking is we've only got 2 weeks to sell this pay-per-view, but Hell in the Cell should sell itself. Does that make sense? Basically, with the gimmick match and with the Hell in the Cell gimmick matches, you only need two Hell in the Cell matches, one for SmackDown, one for Raw, and hopefully the pay-per-view sells itself. But 2 weeks in between pay-per-views is just way too soon, especially in an economy like this where people are shelling out, $30, $40 for each pay-per-view,
And I'm just thinking though, man. Obviously, this their pay-per-view buy rate is far down right now, for WWE standards, and I don't know. I think this will take an even bigger hit than they've had lately.
Right. Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Buy rates, WWE buy rates haven't been anything special in how long, you know what I mean? They're down 150,000, you know what I mean? And
that's just from last year, yeah.
And then ratings. We've got to talk about the Raw rating from last night, 2.8. That was their lowest rating in 2 years since, I believe, November of 2008.
And you hear from us every week, but that's what that week by week booking does for you, man. It's gonna knock your rating down because it's bad TV.
Well, WWE's always been on a week to week booking basis. You know what I mean?
Not this shitty. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about it. Night of Champions from Sunday night. Top to bottom, it was a good pay-per-view. The crowd was hot, like I said. Some of the matches on the card, like Daniel Bryan and The Miz, it wasn't bad, but I just expected more. Yep. They opened it up with Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston. Basically, the stipulation here was if Ziggler is disqualified or counted out, the title will change hands. By the way, there are plans to unify all the titles in WWE.
I guess that must mean the end of the brands,
I don't know. I don't know if it's the end of the brands, but as far as the world title and WWE title are concerned, I don't know how they're going to go about that with only one champion, or the one champion would obviously appear on both Raw and SmackDown, but then you would have so many guys on Raw and so many guys on SmackDown, all competing for one title. You know what I mean? Let me give you guys some spoilers here, and obviously things can change. I haven't put this up on the website, but as of right now, the current plan for WrestleMania next year is Taker versus Sheamus. Okay, that is the going plan right now. Taker versus Sheamus.
For what?
That is the question that remains right now.
Oh, okay.
Would both of those guys be champions at that point, and then they would have a match to unify both titles at the pay-per-view? Or, and I don't think that's the route that they're going. I think the streak will be on the line. It'll be Taker versus Sheamus with the streak on the line, and whether the titles are unified by then or not, or whether Sheamus is WWE World Champion by then, it all depends on